In patch 6.0, Black Orcs with great weapons now has the ability called Unstoppable Choppas, providing additional weapon strength at the cost of minus 24 melee defense. Normally this is a horrible ability because you're getting extra weapon strength, but Black Orcs with great weapons have very mediocre melee stats at only 38 attack and 32 defense, so even if you get those extra weapon strength, you don't have enough melee attack to overcome elite units. And at the same time, you're gonna take more damage because of the minus 24 melee defense. However, the Greenskins now have some of the best melee stats buffs in the game to mitigate this kind of issue. Gorbat Ironclaw here, providing the great leader to nearby troops, plus 10 melee attack and defense, and then the boss as a plan, plus 24 melee defense to counteract the melee defense sacrifice from the Unstoppable Chopper. Of course, with the melee defense sorted, we still have to deal with the melee attack issue and help those Black Orcs land hits more consistently with their increased weapon strength. Gorbat also has the ability called Orcs are the best, providing plus 24 melee attack and another plus 50% weapon strength. If we time it right and activate everything alongside a Wa, the Black Orcs will have plus 48 melee attack and plus 100% weapon strength, capable of slapping the hell out of even the most elite enemies. And don't forget about the non-DLC melee buffs, namely the Orc Shaman coming with the Lore of the Big Wa updated visuals. Starting with the Fist of Gore, plus 24 melee attack and defense, mitigating the defense problem of the Unstoppable Chopper while boosting the Black Orc's damage potential. Speaking of damage potential, here we go, plus 40 melee attack, and it is an AoE spell. Another great supporting ability to maximize the benefit you can get from those increased weapon damage. Theoretically, you can stagger the activation of your abilities and cycle through them on your Black Orc units, supporting them with a constant stream of melee buffs and help them crump whatever is standing before them. Now for the rest of the army here, the Greenskins, played by yours truly, going with a front line of 3 goblins because, well, we don't have exactly the most money after all those Black Orcs. So we are going with a rather narrow build, 1 more goblin spears at the back line there, and Orc Boar Boy Biggins, 2 of them in fact. And then other than that for mobility, Goblin Wolf Riders, Forest Goblin Spider Riders, and 1 more Gross Mangy Marauders. There's also 1 single expensive monster centerpiece here, a Ragnarok Spider with Flinger, not only as a solid anti-large terror causing monster piece, but also using the sticky web to drain away enemies' vigor throughout the battle. Now for the Khorne army played by Lenorm, a front line of Khorngors and a rather elite core of infantry here. Wrathmongers, 3 of them, in fact 1 of them, the Regiment of Renowned Bloodwake Berserkers, and then a couple Forsaken at the back. In disguise, a bunch of Chaos Furies of Khorne, and leading the army Skull Taker. That's it for army builds, and now let's see the Black Orcs infinite melee buffs in action. With the brand new Blue Flinger Spider, finally the Greenskins have a major range advantage over their enemies here. A giant ball of spider webs launching straight for the Forsaken, not only dropping a chunk of their HP and models, but also draining away their vigor, which can be very helpful, especially into the mid stage or even the late stage of the game, where the enemies are way more exhausted than your own troops. On the flank there, I do have some mobility positioning themselves while the Khorne infantry are pushing up, trying to probably screen off my skirmishing firepower. Now, the Forsaken is already at active stage, while the rest of the Khorne army are still at fresh, and you can see their melee attack stats is already getting debuffed by the vigor loss. Skull Taker charging into some goblins, Gorbat moving over, probably not gonna do a whole lot here, since Skull Taker is quickly retreating behind his Khorngors here, getting some infantry support, while the Khorngors and the Bloodwake Berserkers and the rest of the Wrathmongers Forsaken slamming into my goblin front line. Khorngors are standing on the side here, and Furies are moving up, probably just gonna screen my Morgros Mangy Marauders here. Another Spiderweb Ball blasting some of the Bloodwake Berserkers. They already took a few hits during their march, so their vigor level is down to winded already, while my troops are still inactive. In the front line there, Crimson Killers has activated the Unstoppable Choppas, getting 25% more weapon strength. It's no longer dominantly armor piercing after the latest patch, but that is still a massive weapon strength that cannot be ignored, even by the armored Forsaken. You can see they're absolutely getting cleaved asunder thanks to the Fist of Gork, boosting that melee stat of the Crimson Killers. Not that they really need it against the puny 15 melee defense of the Forsaken, but still, that is a very nice kind of engagement for the Crimson Killers, hacking apart the enemy infantry. The other unit of Black Orcs also turning on their Unstoppable Chopper soon. I've dropped an Earwig Go on them, and closely following is the Unstoppable Chopper's weapon stance. Sacrificing melee defense in exchange for additional weapon strength, these massive Choppas are hacking apart a Forsaken. On the far side, there are Furies and Khorngors screening off my mobility, but I'm not really paying attention to that other side there, as my main focus is here. Black Orcs in the front line, both Forsakens have routed and the Wrathmongers are now engaging the Black Orcs. Normally, Wrathmongers with their anti-infantry bonus and elite melee stats, they should be able to overpower the Black Orcs due to the Black Orcs' lack of melee defense, but of course you don't need defense if your enemy is dead. As the war begins, the Black Orcs are fully committing into the offense. Now the Crimson Killers have 3 different weapon strength buffs on them, including Orcs are the best, Unstoppable Choppas, and the Wa. In total, a 100% weapon strength increase on these Crimson Killers. You can see, combined with their bonus versus infantry, they're absolutely smashing through the HP bars of both the Wrathmongers and the Chaos Furies. And on top of that, their melee attack is now up to 96. This is definitely an overkill, but it is still a nice cherry on top. Same goes for the Black Orcs over here, getting the extra weapon strength and melee attack boost from the Wa. They have 50% more weapon damage. And despite having more models, if you discount the HP differences, the individual Black Orc is actually more powerful than the individual Wrathmonger in melee. However, the buffs aren't permanent, and the Crimson Killers themselves are taking more and more damage due to their reduced melee defense in combat. Now over here, because I didn't really provide any support to the Black Orcs over here, they are getting cut down by the Bloodwake Berserkers. You can see the Bloodwake Berserkers still having more than enough HP to fight another Black Orc and probably win the fight. But over here, these Wrathmongers have been cleaved asunder, especially with Gorbat here, providing that plus 10 melee attack and defense to the Crimson Killers and Goblins, helping them hold a little longer in combat. Now on the far side there, Khorne are being kited down by the Morgoth's Mangy Marauders, while a lot of my mobility have been hacked through by the Furies combined with the anti-lodge of the Khorne. But here comes the Bloodwake Berserker clashing into Goblins and the Crimson Killers. They might be down to their last 20-ish% HP, but they're not gonna give up on this fight, just seeking another worthy opponent for a glorious battle before they finally go down. Now do remember that the Bloodwake Berserkers have been subjected to the Flanger shots, reducing their vigor, so despite spending roughly the same time in combat, the Crimson Killers are only on tired while the Bloodwake Berserkers are already exhausted. Goblins have been given a little bit of a Fist of Gork. That was my one attempt to hopefully help them hold a little longer against the Bloodwake Berserkers so that the Crimson Killers have a little bit more meat shields in the fight, but I don't think that's actually doing anything here, since the Goblins still got broken by Khorne, just holding a brief time in combat. But then I do have an earwig go on to the Crimson Killers, and they're now going after the Bloodwake Berserkers who were chasing down some Goblins. Now the Bloodwake Berserkers are charging into all these Goblins, Crimson Killers, even the Orc Borborigans who are just cleaning up routed infantry on the side. And the Bloodwake Berserkers is absolutely getting overwhelmed. Sword of Khorne is dropping in, deleting the Goblins, and basically dropping the Crimson Killers down to the last 17 unit models. They are still taking more damage and down to less than 1000 HP, but they hear no bell. 119 kills and almost 2,800 gold worth of damage value, and their value is still ticking up as they are duking it out against the Bloodwake Berserkers to the very end. Now Skulltaker is stuck between a bunch of single entities and Black Orcs saturating in. The Black Orcs are fighting around Gorbat, receiving both his passive and active buffs, holding back the incoming Khorne and also surrounding and hacking down Skulltaker. And now the Bloodwake Berserkers have been dealt with the Crimson Killers. Despite going through 2 units of Wrathmongers, one of them the Elite Regiment of Renown, they are still standing strong, they're still holding. And on the other hand, Khorne with all their elites taken down, the remaining Khorne and Skulltaker himself can no longer hold up the balance of power, army losses hit, and the Greenskins will be victorious with the endless melee buffs from Gorbat and his Orc Shaman. Now the battle was played in early access, so it was not the most accurate reflection of the Black Orcs' performance. So here's a quick test with the latest patch where the Black Orcs actually have 50% increase of damage with their Unstoppable Choppas. I activated the weapon stance and the Orcs are the best from Gorbat Ironclaw. That basically doubles their damage output, with the charge bonus and bonus versus infantry helping them. The Crimson Killers are slaughtering these Bloodwake Berserkers. And just like in the battle itself, once the Gorbat Ironclaw's buffs wears off, we just drop another Fist of Gork onto the Crimson Killers, juicing up their melee stats once again, and even without the Gorbat Ironclaw's damage boost, the Unstoppable Choppa still gives the Crimson Killers more weapon strength than the Bloodwake Berserkers, though the Bloodwake Berserkers probably have more armor-piercing profile, though it doesn't really matter at this point as the Crimson Killers managed to beat those Bloodwake Berserkers, while they themselves still having half health left. GG to Lernom, and once again, big thanks to him for being my sparring partner during the early access. This game was really the domination of Black Orcs, getting 2,864 damage value for the Crimson Killers, over 2,000 value as well for these regular Black Orcs, as they're constantly being boosted by the Orc Shaman and Gorbat himself, trading up against the supposedly super elite Bloodwake Berserkers and the other Wrathmongers. And in the end, the Crimson Killer is getting some really high quality kills as well, cutting through both of these Wrathmongers here, or at least half of the Bloodwake Berserkers and a full unit of Wrathmongers. And then a bunch of Forsaken and Khorne as well. The Black Orcs over here cut through 1 Wrathmongers and some Khorne plus another unit of Forsaken. So getting 2 chevrons in the end. These Black Orcs here are getting some meh value, but considering they didn't receive any support and has to fight through a bunch of Bloodwake Berserkers, they did alright. Not amazing, but alright. The rest of the Greenskins infantry here not doing too well. To be fair, all the work here was basically done by the Black Orcs and a little bit from the Ragnarok Spider as well. The Flinger Vigor drain is really good, just rendering your opponent's troops ineffective much sooner in battle due to them entering the exhaustion vigor level. As for the Orc Shaman and the Gorbat Iron Claw leader here, they didn't do a whole lot of damage. But the most important thing is that they just constantly juicing up the stats of the Black Orcs, giving them more potency in melee and help them fight against enemies above their own weight class. So in the end, the Wrathmongers here, despite trying their best to duke it out against enemies in melee, they actually got out-traded by all those buffed up Black Orcs, not able to earn back their value. The rest of the Greenskins as well, just simply losing in this kind of head-on battle against a Greenskin army on steroids. Skulltaker doing okay though, getting some really solid damage throughout the game, but unfortunately not quite able to carry his army to victory. And yeah, that's it for today's video. I hope you all enjoyed this little bit of multiplayer action, and if you want to see more Total Warhammer content, be sure to leave a like on this video and subscribe to my channel. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Tactical Lich, signing out.